they were drafted, back then they drafted you, they didn't depend on volunteers. And so Bill only was with us for 2 or 3 months when we was in, no, it had to be longer than that, probably 6 to 9 months that before the Army called him, and Bob was a few months after that. My brother Bob had a friend whose name was Bill Bonta, and he didn't have a family, and so he called our family his family. And back then when you...
Can I just go back to...
Anyway, Bill Bonta considered us his family and lived with us most of the time. Back then, if you had family that was in the service, you'd hang a little banner, like it had a little tassel thing to hang it on a nail, but you would put a star for each person that you had in the service, and we bought one and put one in for Bob and Bill, but we didn't think about Bill Bonta. And when he come home on leave one time, they had to go train at there in the desert in California, but before they shipped him overseas, they let him have I think it was a week, so that they could go visit family or whatever they wanted to do before they was shipped overseas. And when Bill Bonner came home, of course he came to our house because we were his family, but he was kind of sad. He says, "Where's my star?" He says, "I see you have Bill and Bob's, but I don't see one for me." So needless to say, we had to run down and get another star, but we had 3 in the service.
I think I remember you telling me a story once about, was it Aunt Margaret or Mary that wouldn't let Bob and Bill come in?
Margaret would never let them come in after she scrubbed her floors because she wanted them to stay pretty and clean, and all Bill and Bob wanted to do was make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and she said that haunted her when they were overseas because she was afraid something might happen to them. And she says, "What does it hurt to have footprints on the floor, you know?" And that she always felt bad, and said she was so thankful that both of them came home and were not taken from us at that time. My brother Bill was wounded. He went to...
Bob was in the Pacific, and I think Bill went over to Europe, Germany and France.
That's the way it went. But anyway, both of them got Purple Hearts, and you know, nowadays if you're in the service and you cut your finger with a can opener, then oh my, they'll give you a Purple Star. But back during World War II, you had to earn it. I mean, you had to be pretty bad off before they would give it to you. Both of them, I mean, Bill's was visible. You could see it on, I don't know exactly what they did, but he had a scar probably about that long on his side. And we didn't know that my brother Bob had got a Purple Heart till years later. We was at a family reunion, and they brought Bill's uniform out with his little Purple Heart and stuff hanging on it, and it saddened me because the suit looked like it would fit a 12-year-old boy, and I thought how young those boys were when they had to go to the service and fight for their country. Bob never would talk about his experiences. Once you got Bill started, he loved to talk about it, but my brother Bob did not like to talk about it. So, in fact, we didn't know that he had that Purple Heart until we were at the family reunion, and of course Bill's was on his uniform, and then that struck up a conversation about the Purple Heart, and I can't remember who told us that Bob got one. Do you remember, Deb?
No, but I just remember them
But,
talking about it.
Yeah. But anyway, he got one as well, but I don't know, I guess he was more quiet about it or whatever.